Well, I know I've got Sasha Star with me, and we'll see when Nick joins us as well. One of the questions I was going to ask the Honorable David Walker when we had him on the economic show was, is there a real retirement age? So I know that this is the media show and all along those lines, but I know that I've got some friends that have decided to retire younger than I did, and retiring at ages like 40 and all along those lines because they have made enough money or been successful enough that they can retire at that age, even though some of them are going into second or third careers and all along those lines. But I know some other gentlemen that are well into their 80s that are still working because they're even working at that testing company that I was referring to earlier and all along those lines. So I'll bring in Sasha Star because people are getting all kinds of opportunities, and this is the media show and all along those lines. So that's what I was going to ask David, is if there is such a thing as a real retirement age, because I don't know as you recall, but I remember when I was growing up, my grandmother and granddad would be thinking that they would retire at like 65 and those kind of things. So there was like a standardized retirement age, and now the retirement age seems to be all over the place depending on what your career is and what kind of job you're doing and your success level and all along those lines. And there's some careers, like I know you and Nick are big into chess, that you never seem to retire. You seem to be retiring all over the place depending on what your career is. So I just wanted to see, is there a real retirement age, or is retirement a myth? I think Sasha heard me. Might be going on the other computer.
Your voice is disappearing sometimes.
Oh, did you hear what I said earlier, or you didn't hear
No,
any of that? No, I
no.
was just saying that the question I was going to ask uh, David earlier on his show and all along those lines, and this is the media show, is the notion of retirement. Because I've had a couple of my friends that are much younger than me, they're in their 40s and they've already retired. And then I've got other folks that are well into their 80s that are still working and everything like that. So I know when I was growing up, my grandmother and granddad would probably retire like at 65 or 70. And it seems like historically we used to have a standardized retirement age, and now people seem to be retiring all over the place depending on their success level and all along those lines. So I'm trying to figure out if there is a real system to the retirement madness, because it seems to me that depending on your job and your career, and what I was saying is I know that you and Nick are into chess, and some chess players are still playing well into their 90s and hundreds and everything like that. So what's your take? Is there a real retirement age in either Canada or you are, or in the U.S.? Because I remember historically you would see shows like the Jeffersons and people would be gearing toward retirement by the time they hit 65 or 70. But now it seems that a lot of people are wanting to work well into their 80s, or they have no choice but to work well into their 80s because of the economics that exist and everything like that.
Mark, I think it's a highly individual endeavor of what time and when and at what point you will retire. Some people will make a lot of choices and they will live with their choices. It's all about, I can say. There's
Yeah,
no
that makes sense, and that makes a
proof.
lot of sense, and everything like that. Do you ever pay attention? Because this is the media show, and I know Nick will probably be enjoying this as well. To some of these stars, and 'cause I know there used to be a time, there used to be even a popular show called Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. I forgot the host and everything like that, but they would go visiting these houses of these famous people and finding out what they had in their closet or all along those lines and everything like that. But and now there's a lot of people that are excited because apparently Will Smith, the famous actor, has like 2.5 million motorhomes. So it's not even his regular home, but it's his motorhome that he's traveling around and all along those lines. So I was reading an article where people were excited about the nature of this motorhome of his and everything like that. So I just wondered, do you ever pay attention to those kind of shows? Because that was very popular. And I was seeing that this person was writing an article about this luxury two-story motorhome that Will Smith has. So do you ever pay attention to these kind of like media stories? And did you ever watch that show? Because that show was so hugely popular back in the day, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. I don't think it's on anymore, but I do know that a lot of people were, I guess, having that kind of like fantasy of this is how they want to live. So they were watching other people and getting some kick off of that and all along those lines. So did you ever watch that? Or you told me, did you ever watch that show? Did you ever pay attention to the famous houses of famous people? Either. And you're on mute, Jacoby.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I didn't pay attention to him.
You didn't pay attention. You didn't watch that show or anything along those lines.
Mhm.
What are y'all finding in the media news these days? That's just two things that kind of came across my mind. Like I said, Nick says for always started because he is going on. What the heck is this about? FBI agents get approval to investigate Jamie Foxx. Why are we investigating Jamie Foxx? Do you have any idea? Jacoby.
No, I mean I haven't kept up with that at all. So yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know either. It just popped into my news feed when I typed in media, and I'm going like, maybe it's a maybe it's a plot of some show or something like that. But yeah, it just popped in when I typed in media and all along those lines. So a lot of people I know are still dealing with the shooting of the kids and everything like that. But that's more of a news story and everything like that. So what media stories have you been following? Either you or Sasha and everything like that. So what have y'all been paying attention to in the media? Either one of you.
Media is obviously there is a heavy concentration on Iran and U.S. Situation. I think it overshadows everything else put together. Therefore, I even don't know why you don't discuss that, and instead you're looking at retirement and all other stuff. It's in interest of probably people who are getting ready for retirement. Because if you're young, you don't care. If you're already retired, you also don't care. So it's very small portion of people. So
Well, one of the things that's going on in the media is apparently, and this is coming back to what we were talking about area, there's hundreds of fake pro-Trump avatars that are emerging on social media. So this is an article that came out with the New York Times, and this just came out. Today is Monday, so this came out on Saturday. So and we were talking about AI in other forms, but apparently the artificial intelligence generated fake influencer are surging on TikTok, Instagram, and other places as well. So apparently there's a lot of AI avatars that are not real and they are fake, but they are emergent as if they are pro-Trumpers and everything like that. So I know both of you spend time on social media. I know Kim does as well, and even Nick. And I think they even have to have a warning that it's generated by AI. But how often are y'all running across these on your own feed? So you're seeing a lot of these fake feeds that are actually claiming to be supporters of Trump, but they are AI generated, and they might even be generated by his enemies for all we know and everything like that. But Jacoby, how much are you running across these fake AI supporters?
I mean, they're everywhere. That's what bots are. I mean, it happens on any form of social media you can find, from Facebook to Twitter to everything.
Yeah, because apparently they're just like going all over the place and everything like that. So they're just talking about how that's a major story that's going on there, where these people are just like taking over the whole notion of what's going on and all in that way. Because definitely that's something that I had not seen going on. Because I've been seeing some people that claim to be pro-Trump, and I'm going like, you're not really pro-Trump. You're a fake. But then again, there's a lot of catfishing going on social media as well. But yeah, the New York Times did a whole article on it and everything like that. Actually, I'll try to see if I can pull up the article and see what they are per se saying, and y'all can comment on it. But yeah, it says that they're trying to hook conservative voters, so they're using them to hook conservative voters. One of them, they says the left says Republicans aren't united. That's funny because I bet I can get a Trump supporter from every state to comment, and I have seen that one. I've seen that one, and all along those lines. And it's usually some boxing woman that is doing them with bright eyes and all along those lines. But they've even got some that are different ethnicities. There's even one that says the same thing, that's a sister in the military outfit. So she's coming in there from that statute of being a military veteran and all along those lines. So yeah, they're trying to mine to get some more support by getting people to comment that they are pro-Trump. Yeah. Any thoughts around that, Toby? Or what else are you finding in the media? Because you always have good stories on this show and everything like that. We're waiting for Nick to come back here. So what are you finding out in your media searches of stuff, including games and video games and stuff that are things that we can be watching and talking about and all along those lines?
The only big new media story would be that I found interesting was the there's a comic book convention that just happened, and they showed the new Doomsday trailer.
They showed the new Witch trailer.
Doomsday.
Oh, cool. And you have a copy of that, or what did you think of it, and what was it like?
It hadn't been released yet, so it was only shown to the individuals there.
Gotcha. Where was that at? In New York?
I forgot the convention name.
And Comic-Con is coming up. I know that's coming up in November, because I did see that when I was at Full Frame this weekend. That Comic-Con was coming up, I think, in November here and everything like that. The North Carolina Comic-Con.
Yeah, I doubt they do a trailer there because they don't have the rights to that. That's Disney goes to the bigger places, the really big conventions. Comic-Con, the NC Comic-Con is great. It's huge for our area, but it's not as big as like San Diego Comic-Con. That's a whole different animal.
I got you. Apparently, because there's been some conversation, I don't know, even Sasha is, I guess, invested in Netflix, but they're saying that Wall Street still loves streaming, but they're asking, are the affections well placed? So maybe there's going to be a push away from streaming. I don't know what's coming after streaming and everything like that, but will Wall Street still be supporting these streaming platforms, whether it's Roku or some of the other ones that have been out there, Pluto and everything like that, or are we going to have a new trend that's going to replace all of the streaming that's been going on for decades now, particularly now that we are well out of the pandemic, which made streaming very popular and everything like that. So what's our thoughts around that? Anybody?
Is the question about Roku replacing streaming?
No, I mean, because the article that I'm seeing is Wall Street still loves streaming, but are its affections well placed, which is kind of implying that, like anything else, just like the car was replaced and other things. I mean, the bike was replaced by the car and other things have been replaced. That there will be something that replaces streaming. We don't know what it is, but there will be something that replaces streaming as the major media outlet and everything. Right now, streaming is leading the media. It's even leading the major media.
It's just the evolution.
Right.
That's all that is.
What do you think will be What do you think will be the next evolution step, and all along those lines?
That's a good question. Tough thing is, I'm sitting here trying to edit videos, trying to focus on 4 different things.
Yeah, you're multitasking, and I do that all the time, so I understand that. Looks like Disney is planning to lay off as many as 1,000 employees, so that could impact their bottom dollar down there in Florida, down there in Trump territory, and all along those lines. So that would be interesting to see how that plays out as well. So it would be very interesting. I know that Ken's very excited about our show at 1:00 because that's going to be about the timeshare show, and apparently they've done 100 episodes. I think some of these shows have done more than that. Hey, Sasha, how many episodes have you done of? I'm thinking in that 5-year war, you've probably done close to 200 episodes or more of the Ukraine, Russia, China show, but I'm thinking it's got to be close to 150 to 200 and everything. I know you sometimes take off because of your own vacations and everything like that, but I'm thinking you've got to, I don't know if you've been keeping track of them, but do you know what number you're on and everything like that?
500 plus.
It is 500 plus in the...
There are 2 episodes every week. I'm
Right.
doing that for 5.5 years.
Right.
5.5 years, if you multiply by 52 times 2, if you it's 104, here we go.
Yeah, so that would be like over 500 plus and everything like that. But yeah, you can do a celebration of that. They need to do a celebration of you doing 500 plus episodes, because that is quite a milestone and everything like that. Because I know she's making a big deal about the 100th episode of the Timeshare Show, but it sounds to me like you're going to push up on 600 episodes and all along those lines. So I might have to tell them that they need to come out and bring the stars and have you get your flowers while you're living, instead of that expression of getting them later, because you've definitely been doing a great job of that show, having some major people that have helped you, whether that's Jonathan or whether that's Ivan, who comes all the way from the Kyiv and everything like that. What's something that surprised you about doing this show that you have enjoyed, or something that you wish that was done differently and everything like that? Because you've been doing it for a while, so what about the show has pleasantly surprised you?
No, I don't have any pleasant surprises. Sometimes there are bad surprises when, for some reason, show wouldn't start on time. Sometimes the technical problems. Rather than that, everything is as planned, and it will go on for another few years like that, and, God willing.
And you've also done probably close to that many, or at least a couple of hundred shows of both the chess show and modern investments. I know the chess show, you've had everybody from chess giants, including that couple whose name is slipping me, and all along those lines, but they used to be regulars with you, and now you got the two professors, and all along those lines, and I'm sure you might get some other chess folks as well. So if there was a chess person that you could get, because I'm the one that reaches out to these people, and it would be your dream chess person or your dream investment person for your investment show, who would that be? So, like I said, if you tell me, I might even go out there and try to find them, because Toby will tell you I'm one of those people that if you give me an assignment, I'll go out there and try to make it happen. So, I'm not saying that it would happen, but what's that old saying? The worst that can happen from a asking is a no. So it doesn't hurt for me to go out there and use my media credentials and media background and try to get them to come on. So if you had a dream person that you wanted on, who would that be in both the investment show and the chess show, or for that matter, the Ukraine show? So who would your dream guest be?
Okay, for a chess show, it would be Judith Polgar. And for investment show, I wouldn't mind to have possibly. It's a difficult situation because at different times, different people are shining. But who is very consistent?
Well, let's go for Warren Buffett. We'll see what we can get with Warren Buffett for you.
No, I wouldn't have Warren Buffett for sure. Unless if I would do my show 50 years ago, that would be a different story. Today, no. Say, I wouldn't mind to have Gareth Soloway from Verified Investing. I wouldn't mind to have him. And for a Ukrainian show, I wouldn't mind to have I guess Zelensky himself. Why not?
That would be great if you could get Zelensky. No doubt about that. He might even be available because he is a media person himself as well. So I might reach out to all three of those. I'm surprised that you didn't say the for your investment show, because I know that that's one of your major investments. And I do know that he appears on media shows because I've seen him on media shows, and some of them are even fellow podcasts. They're not necessarily like the ABCs or the NBCs of the world and everything like that. I'm surprised you didn't say that you didn't want the president of NVIDIA, because NVIDIA, the president, has appeared on people's shows, including podcasts and everything like that. And I know you're
He's already said everything what we need to know from him. I don't see him saying anything what I've never heard before.
Gotcha. So you don't think he'd bring anything new into the conversation?
No.
Hey, Jacoby, you're into gaming and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. But who is a dream guest that you would like, whether it's in the media world or the sports world or some of the other things that you're invested in? Because like I said, y'all put me on the assignment. I might just go out there and reach out to them by email and see, or other contacts, because I might even know people at all along those times. Because I have a funny story to share with y'all about one of the films that I saw at the film festival that involved Lady Gaga, and shows how sometimes it's just a matter of knowing the right person and everything like that. So who would be your dream person that you would want and everything like that? You're on mute. You're on mute.
It'd be fun to talk to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I guess. That'd be
Yeah, Neil deGrasse
probably
Tyson. Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson would be fun, and that'd be a good conversation to have and everything. But I could also see you talking to some people that you're not fans of, like some of the super conservatives. Like, I can see you having a good time with Candace Owens here on this network. I can see you having a real fun time with Candace Owens, asking her some pertinent questions and knowing that we don't agree with her and everything like that. But the interesting story, we can actually end this a little bit earlier, like maybe the 25 mark and everything like that, was one of the filmmakers that was doing a film about I Was Born This Way, which Lady Gaga remade from Carl Bean and everything like that. One of the answers when they were doing questions and answers at Forefront, where they asked her, how did they get Lady Gaga? And apparently they asked Questlove, who was involved in the film before Lady Gaga, and they were like, he had been trying for 5 years to get Lady Gaga, this particular producer, and was having no luck, was getting the typical runaround that you get from celebrities and all along those lines. But when he asked Questlove was basically like, "Oh, you want Stephanie?" And like the next day is when they got Lady Gaga, because he's got that kind of relationship that he knows her by the first name, because apparently Lady Gaga's real name is Stephanie and everything like that. So they had that working relationship that literally, after this filmmaker had been trying to get him for 5 or 6 years, it was like, "Hey, you want Stephanie? I got her in my Rolodex." So the next day, he called Stephanie that night, and the next day Stephanie called and was like, "Yeah, I love that song, and I'm doing a remake of that song." So yeah, you can have me talk about Carl Bean and the remake, and that's how they managed to get this major superstar. They also had Maxine Waters and Dionne Warwick and some other celebrities. Billy Porter, the singer, was on it as well. So they had a lot of folks on that particular show. But it was just interesting to hear him say that sometimes it's just a matter of knowing the right connection. So that would be the case of knowing the right connection and all along those lines. Because it's like, whoa. So yes, if you know somebody like Lady Gaga's by her real name, it would be like knowing the Beyonce family, because Beyonce is the whole family and everything like that. That was part of the machinery behind her. That it's just a matter of knowing the right people sometimes.
Yep, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe we can get them on and all along those lines. I'm going to type up media news, see if I see anything that's major in current media news, recite some of these media news stories, and we'll get on out of here and everything like that, because I do know they're going to have that big celebration, and they want everybody. So jump on that if you can at the 100th anniversary of Timeshare Solutions or Surrenders, which will be coming up at 1 o'clock. So that'll be coming up at 1 o'clock, and they'll be celebrating Irene's taking on that big industry and all along those lines. So that ought to be a fun conversation to see what takes place in that way, and whether folks are excited, and they might even be bringing up some victories that they've had. Because I know they went to D.C. and went before, I think they even went before some of the congressmen. Now, whether they were in their offices or doing a testimony, that I never got quite clarity on and everything. But I'm sure we'll find this out as well, and all along those lines. But as far as media news, when I type up in media on AI, it says the media industry is navigating rapid changes in streaming, digital platforms, and regulatory challenges, with ongoing legal, technological, and business developments shaping news coverage and journalism. So streaming platforms continue to attract significant investment, with Wall Street showing strong interest in the growth potential, though questions remain about long-term profitability and market sustainability. Take CNBC, for example, and media companies like Versant, the parent of CNBC, and MS Now are expanding beyond traditional cable TV into digital and streaming services to capture broader audiences. I was actually meeting a guy yesterday that was telling me how much he enjoys being on old TV. I think he said he watches Ion, but also Pluto and other channels, because he loves watching the Beverly Hillbillies, and he's a big fan apparently of Andy Griffin and everything like that, because he reminded me that, which I had forgotten, that Barney is actually a relative. I think they're cousins of Andy and everything like that. Because he was like saying, how can that guy, as much as he's a bumbling deputy, be in the force and everything? And that's when he was reminding me that apparently, and which I didn't remember as part of the storyline until I thought about it, that Barney was Andy's cousin. But then as I recall, they were all related, including Gomer Pyle and the rest of them and everything like that. But he was just talking about how much he enjoys when he's having time off, because I think he's of retirement age, watching those old classic TV shows. And I know I even enjoy watching them, whether it's Hunter or whether it's I was even a while back watching some old Columbo episodes and some old Matlock episodes and everything like that. So what's some of your old favorite TV shows that you still enjoy watching and everything? I haven't seen Dukes of Hazzard lately, but that might be fun to go back and watch, as well as Carter Country. But what's some old TV shows that you enjoy watching?
Stir Crazy.
Stir Crazy, cool.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few. Well, not really that many.
You know, like the old cold cases, because cold cases, those old ones can be actually fun. Because I know sometimes I'll flip on my TV and watch some of the old cold cases. Now, sometimes I realize that I've already seen the episode 2 or 3 times and already know what's going to happen at the end and everything. And it's also fun watching some of these more modern remakes, like the remakes of Murder She Wrote and the remakes of Hawaii Five-O that have come out in the last 5 to 7 years. Because some of them seem to be as good as the original, and then some of them don't seem to be as good as the original. But they all are doing decent, to say that kind of way. They might not be doing super great, but they're doing at least decent.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, like I said, there's a lot. There's so much out now.
Yeah, there's so much out there now.
Where was it? There was something I was looking for, and I was going to show you, but I can't find it.
Oh, I was looking forward to saying, I like your show and tells. You can't find it? Find it for me. Always have good show and tells for me and Rick. Are the Hurricanes, while you find that, if you can find it, are the Hurricanes going to win the Stanley Cup? I mean, I know they won Game 1 and Game 2 is today and everything like that, but I guess everybody's thinking that Colorado is theirs to lose and everything like that, because I think they're number 1, and then Carolina and Tampa Bay are ranked 2 and 3. But you follow that sport more than I do. What are you giving the Hurricanes as a chance to win?
Well, I've been so busy with everything else. I got a convention that I'm building, all this other stuff, so I haven't had a chance to really even watch this year that much.
Speaking of conventions, and now I'm thinking about it, is the media show, and video games is a form of media, and all along those lines. So really quickly, and maybe that's how we'll wind it while you're looking for that and everything like that, because we do have a decent amount of people that are locally based that wind up watching this, partially because they're friends of mine or friends just in general and everything like that. So tell the fine folks about this arcade thing that's going on at Hayti in June. So maybe that's a way we can get some commercials going, and I can even create them into commercials. So tell us
Well, I
about
got to create a commercial for it.
Yeah.
They got new stuff for this game.
Now, are they going to be learning gaming, or are they just going to be playing? Tell me about this whole arcade idea.
I mean, they're going to be playing games, and there are going to be ways for them to learn about new things or about how to create games.
So there will be chances for them to learn how to create their own games, not just playing the game, but also a chance for them to learn how to create the games as well.
Yep. So, I mean, it's all a part of a large process. I've got to, like I said, I'm working on the video right now. I got to set that up for a commercial. But, yeah, it's just a lot to it.
There's always a lot to do in any of these events and everything like that. I know you were going to an event with the Qs yesterday, so hopefully you passed out all those flyers and all of that stuff, and maybe we'll get even some of the Miracle League people to come to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the kids, just like I'm looking forward to a week from Thursday seeing that film that Kenny Delsheimer did on Brother Youssef, and apparently it's getting a decent amount of traction, so we should get a good audience for that particular film, because Brother Youssef was a very popular jazz musician, moved here, I want to say from either Baltimore or New York, but he's been part of the jazz legacy that existed here, along with his well-known and also late bassist Freeman Ledbetter. So they are all probably featured in that film, but they were also part of bringing the Muslim community here to Durham, because I think he was part of the building of the first mosque too. If he wasn't part of it, he was definitely very active in it as well. So yeah, they've got some rich history, and I'm looking forward to seeing that documentary, because the first mosque actually got one of those historical markers. So if you go down there by the Durham Co-op and everything, you'll see that it's there along, not that far. I think it's maybe less than a half a block from the marker for Paulie Murray and everything like that. So there's some great history here in our Bull City, but it's good to see that was there and everything like that. Hey, I managed to do exactly what I wanted to do, which is get us to at least the 30-minute mark, because I never like to be shorter than 30 minutes on any of these shows, even if we do an abbreviated version like I've done on World Politics. So I just managed to get us there. So I'm good now. So we can get ready to wrap up and everything like that. So any final thoughts? Otherwise, I'm going to hit that magic button and everything like that, since I was trying to get us to the 30-minute mark.
Nothing I can think of right now, because like I said, I'm doing 5 things at one time.
I know about that multitasking, but I do that quite often. Sometimes doing podcasting, hey time measurement, and just surviving. So yeah, I know about that multitasking. So multitasking is a wonder for us creative types.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the same thing.
On that note, I'm gonna hit the media button and get us on out of here, because we just hit the 30-minute mark. So this was a fun show, and we'll get on out of here, and I'll catch you probably on World Edition, unless you pop up at HATAT sometime today, because I got to get there by this evening. Otherwise, I'll catch you later on.
All right, that'll work.